The following is a Productions original series.
Hello and welcome to Walk and Roll Live. I'm Doug Benson along with Addie Rich.
That's me.
We are a podcast dedicated to giving a voice to the disability community. We do that by having those with a disability on to tell their stories, and the organizations that provide programs, services, and support to the community on to share what they do for the community. I am a polio survivor, crutch and brace user for years, and transitioned into a wheelchair over the last 20 years. And Miss Rich?
I have cerebral palsy, showed up early on the planet and came with some extras. I use a walker and headed toward a wheelchair more consistently as my body ages.
Very nice. Tell us all about your exciting week.
Woo! I worked. It's a busy. It's busy over at work, and that's all I know. The weather was okay, we've been talking about weather. I know you had warm weather
last week, yeah.
The weather was like in the 70s, like literally leave the door open and beautiful because no mosquitoes, not hot enough to need AC. It's like dream weather, but it's like the weather we normally get like in March.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit scary because if it's this warm right now, what will it be for the summer?
So still warm. It hasn't winter hasn't returned.
No, it has not. So it can stay away if it would like.
So did you watch the big game?
I watched the beginning of it, and then I got so frustrated by the third quarter, I turned it off.
What were you frustrated by? Were you a Kansas City fan?
I just was so annoyed that he kept getting sacked.
I wasn't.
Oh, you're an Eagles dude.
No, I'm a Raiders fan.
Okay.
Yeah, so not real fond of Kansas City, Denver.
Well, you know what? I told Mom, I said the reason I like it is because it's just fun to watch people have a good game.
Yeah.
And watch the fun. I'm there for the commercials. Let's be real.
Any commercials stand out for you?
I mean, lots of them are really funny. I was amazed how many people that weren't in the football world were in the commercials. But I guess if the money's right. I mean, there was such a conglomeration of different actors and actresses and things.
Yeah, there was.
That I was,
What was the one with Harrison Ford?
I'm sorry?
Just afterwards, I couldn't, even during, I didn't know what they were for because you get kind of distracted during the commercial. People are talking, so exactly. That was part of it. But like the one with Harrison Ford, what was that about?
Oh, good question. I don't know. Was it for a car?
What was the one that Seal was about?
Oh, that was just dumb, but I don't even, that was a drink. That was a Mountain Dew.
It was a drink, oh.
It was Mountain Dew, I think. But like you, I'm like, I get into the little story blip and I have no idea what they're selling me. Yeah, but later my subconscious might be like,
So how about the people with the skin hats? That was weird. Jesus.
Who did that?
I don't know. Again, I don't know.
Yeah, so what was your favorite commercial? Because it clearly wasn't that one.
I think the Dorito one where the guy's, wrestling with the spaceship for his Doritos. It kind of started off like, huh? And then the more it went, and, he's getting it back, and spaceship gets him back, and then he wins him back, and that just cracked me up.
Did they do the Budweiser Clydesdale, or am I crazy? Did I miss that one when I turned the TV off?
They did. I know Bud Light was back, and that was kind of funny. With
that was funny. With the William Dafoe and
yeah. What was it? The dudes of the cul-de-sac or something like that.
Oh,
yeah. That's their mea culpa.
Yeah. What else did you do during the week besides wait?
Well, it's been a bit busy. I had dinner with the principals of YAR Professional Training. They are my good friends Dan and Suzette, and avid listeners. Hi Dan. Hi Suzette. And they're some of my favorite people in the world. We probably did 2.5 hours for dinner, and that wasn't nearly enough. They're friends, they're advisors, they're all of those things. So, we had a good time. And saw an orthopedic doctor for my shoulders, which I have been for years and years and years.
And you got your cortisone shots.
I got my cortisone shots. I don't, have I whined about that at all here?
You have not.
Yeah.
You have not, but I saw your Instagram picture, so.
Well, the thing is, just very quickly, I'm of an age that when I get together with people that I know that are my age,
Yes, you
There's a
all
lot of
talk about
conversation about all our aches and pains and this and that. And if I had to listen to one more person say, got my cortisone shot today, I was going to sock them in the neck. Because I've been asking the doc. I can't tell you how many doctors I've gone to in series of, physical therapy and neurologists. And have you ever heard of a physiatrist? A physiatrist?
No, what is that?
It's a
physical therapist crossed with something?
Yeah, something. I don't know. Physiologist with a therapist, physical therapist.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's something. It's real. I went to one of those, had the whole neurological tests, where they put the needles in and apply the shock. And which I'm sick. I enjoyed, but
yeah, you are sick, man. That is one of my worst childhood memories is going to Downey and having that where they insert it and and it got stuck because I got a spasm in my calf.
Oh, gotcha.
And that's no. You never want to traumatize me.
So through all of that, nobody ever thought, hey, maybe we can get you a little relief and we'll give you a cortisone shot. And then there were doctors that I asked that wouldn't give it. And I didn't even have to bring it up. He did. He said, would you like a cortisone shot? And, when I came to, never mind. Jeez. So, yeah. And initial relief really was fairly quick. But it's not, of course, it's not the all encompassing.
It's not
cure.
a magic bullet?
Not a magic bullet. No. But it is better. Is it better? And so we'll go back in 3 or 4 months and we'll see what's next. And then today was cardiologist day. So I don't know why. I don't know if I did it on purpose or not. But anyway, I had two today. I had to go see the second opinion to my original cardiologist. So kind of a follow-up for him. And then I went over to my regular cardiologist and got my echocardiogram to get ready for my visit in a couple of weeks. Yeah. I love that.
The heart is there.
Yeah.
The heart is there.
It's there. Yeah. I love that. Just sitting there watching it pump away and fascinating.
Right. You're like, thanks, buddy.
So, that was pretty much my week. Yeah. Smart drive.
Yeah. Stupid drive. I'm calling it stupid drive from now on. They can
I know.
be mad at me.
It may fit better. So I think I said last week they were coming. The new dial was ready and they were coming to install it on Thursday. Last Thursday they came and the guy's got a gallon bag that you would put something in the freezer. Yeah. And I can see through it and I'm looking at them going, I already have that. They already came and installed the wires with the push button. Yeah. He's like, what? So still don't have the dial, and we'll just hopefully that won't be too much longer, and we'll get caught up with all of that.
Oh, the saga continues.
I know. Yeah. So that is what it is. Let's see. Oh yeah, and it is Heart Disease Awareness Month. So
that's what I was just going to say to you. I was like, did you go to the cardiologist because it's February?
I kind of do every time this time of year. I do. I go every 6 months for a checkup. So. And the one early we do an echocardiogram and do blood work, and I went and did that a couple of weeks ago, so we're all caught up. But right now,
we get letters, oh so many letters, and it's time to share them with you.
I should have made this bigger. I got to put my glasses on. So I went to the Inland Empire Disability Collaborative last week and contacted a lot of people, and then sent emails to them all saying, hey, nice to meet you, want to have you on the show and blah blah blah. So Gerald, he reached out to me and said, Doug and Addie, nice to meet you and thank you for sending info on your podcast. I just finished the episode with Brian, which was amazing. Yep. We are in continued conversations with Brian. A few years ago, I had the privilege of teaching scuba diving to individuals with different disabilities. One gentleman was blind, and while it seemed contradictory to engage in diving, it was amazing to realize how heightened his other senses were, aiding him in the process. He was certainly an exception, as the other students were mainly TBIs, but his substantial situational awareness was impressive. So, that's Gerald's take. Thank you for listening, and look forward to having you on the show down the road. And speaking of the show and down the road, let's move it down the road. Take a quick break and hear from Agyar Professional Training. And Randy Plummer is next. He came into my radar when he was a musician at the Possibilities annual dinner. And just a great saxophonist. And as they do every year, they try to get entertainment for musicians and whatnot to perform that night that all have disabilities. And he's no exception. So I wrestled him and said, you want to be on the show? As I
Hey, buddy, come be on our show.
People are going to start running from me soon. All right, so we'll take a quick break. Be right back.
At Agyar Professional Training, we know that your greatest asset is your team. Investing in their development, knowledge, and happiness is essential for your business's success and growth. To achieve new heights, it's important to hire intelligent, talented individuals and empower them to excel in their areas of strength and passion. Agyar is committed to transforming your employees into happier, more productive, and fulfilled individuals. When your team thrives, your business prospers. Wise leaders understand that providing team members with opportunities to shine in their strengths unlocks untapped potential. Elevate your team with Agyar Professional Training and witness the growth of your business.
You're listening to Walk and Roll Live Disability Stories.
Stories shared in every heart. Healing starts to play its part. In this journey we unite, shining with your glowing light. Insight found in every voice. Together
Walk and Roll Live. We are back. And as we start every week, the same way, I'd like to get an introduction from our guest. So I'm going to let you do a self-introduction. Just your name. We'll start off with where you're from and what your disability is.
Hey, my name is Randy Plummer. Thanks for having me on, Doug. I live in Riverside, California, and kind of interesting is I still don't have. They have an idea. They think I had a GBS type reaction to my COVID shots, but I still don't have like a formal diagnosis of what entirely happened.
Yeah.
But I'm was put into heart failure, and I have a neurological issues, all stemming from what could have been the COVID shot or long hauler COVID that had affected me back in.
Is that kind of like the likely suspect?
22? Yeah. So I was, I've always been active growing up. Before anything had happened, I was working as a mason. I was building fireplaces and everything, and had the ability to walk around. But I just kind of went through and had my shots, and then after the second one, I kind of never really the second Pfizer shot, I never really fully recovered. And 6 months later, after that had happened, my nervous system started kind of like just attacking. My body started attacking my nervous system.
Yeah.
And so trying to fight it off. Yeah. So we think that, either it was the shot somehow had woken it up, or that, with long hauler COVID, it kind of goes dormant in the body for around 6 months. And, we think it might have attached itself to my nervous system in that time.
So let's go.
I'd gotten a
let's kind of back
sick.
up, Randy. Let's back up a little bit, and we'll let's go through it a little slower because we're moving fast. We're going to be done here, and if we don't slow it down just a little bit. So I just kind of want to back up where you were saying you're active. First of all, give us an idea how old you are.
I am 31. I just turned 31 back in January.
Young man.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So. So you, like you say, you were working, you were a mason, and, there's some heavy lifting involved in that. Kind of.
I was building all custom fireworks. We'd get shipments in of block, get our schematics, and then cut them to length.
Yeah. And you say athletic growing up, playing all kinds of different sports.
All sorts of different sports, played everything, but I really stuck with basketball was my sport growing up.
Yeah,
from like for sure elementary school, middle school, all the way up through high school. I was on the basketball team, Yeah, that was my thing. Me and my friends would could always bond over music and basketball.
Very nice. So then COVID comes along, and so how long ago was this? When they came out with a vaccine, it went to first responders, I think, first, and then people with comorbidities and older folks, all that. Then, so what year did you get your shot?
I believe it was 23.
So fairly late
when I got it.
Right?
Yeah. It was. I luckily when it came out, I just kind of masked up. I did my own thing. I have a smaller circle of friends that I really enjoy hanging out with, and so we would kind of keep it small. Not do anything too crazy. If we went out, we would mask up and just try to really stay to ourselves as much as we can. Yeah, I came through to work one day, and somebody had picked it up from over the weekend.
In your group?
And I got it. Not in my group,
but close enough.
Yeah, somebody from work picked it up. Yeah,
so that's what made you decide to get the shot.
Yeah. So I got it. I got in the call and was like, "Oh man, like Eddie's sick. You might want to get checked out." And so this was about December. This is like later, like just after Christmas of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went and I got checked out, and they were like, "Oh, hey, you're sick. You need to quarantine for the entire month."
Oh, so you did get COVID?
Yeah, I did get COVID.
Okay.
So I'd gotten the COVID, and my doctor told me to quarantine for a whole month. Usually it's 2 weeks, but my doctor said, you're probably going to more than likely give it to your family, which I did, unfortunately. And so they're going to need to quarantine. So, just quarantine, tough it out together for that month, and then you guys should be good. And so I did that, and was okay. Didn't I'd lost my taste. I had little hard time breathing, but it wasn't anything too serious at first. And so I went through and I'd gotten my first Pfizer shot probably about March-ish, March or April. And, it knocked me down for a day. I was feeling terrible, but I got back up. It was just like a little adverse reaction at first. So, it was good. I went back to work, and a couple months later, I went down and I'd gotten my second shot. That's when they came out with the second. They'd recommended getting a second follow-up shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through and did the same thing. It knocked me down, and I was down for a day, really bad for a day. And I got up, but I'm not quite sure that my body really fully recovered. And kind of after that month, there was just always something wrong. I would get sick, which I usually don't. I would get sick and stay sick for a couple of weeks, and it was kind of nasty. But it wasn't until about I want to say June-ish. We were working. We were getting ready for the bosses to come in, cleaning up the shop, everything, and was getting ready for work one day, and I just kind of waking up as a mason, we would go in probably 3 or 4 in the morning and work till 1 or 2.
Wow.
And so I would get up in the morning, and I just remember getting up and having some pain in my legs. I was a little shaky, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, but I didn't really pay attention to it. I was just like, I'm probably tired. I was sore. I would rub my legs out, and when I was on break and everything. And I'm like, okay, this will pass. I'm probably just overdoing it because we're getting ready for the bosses to come in. And
what was the soreness like, Randy? Was it like a muscle type? Anything that you had experienced before?
Yeah, it was kind of. It was it really felt like it was my legs. It was really in my thighs. Mm-hmm. My thighs around my knees would get my thighs and toward my knees they would get really it kind of felt like my muscles were getting really stiff and rigid, and so and they would burn a little bit.
So different than the pain you might have after working out or something.
Yeah.
Different than that.
it would stay around all day. It was the one thing that really kind of maybe should have tipped me off a little sooner.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I remember going on my breaks and just being like, oh man, I'm like, it feels like I'm really sore. Maybe I just need to stretch and like maybe I can rub it out or anything. But after sitting, it actually felt like it would get worse.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah.
would like it wouldn't, like nothing would go away, and I would just kind of like, all right, let's go. So by by Tuesday, by Wednesday for sure, I was like, oh man, this is like something's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I went through work. I was like, okay, it's a little weird. Tuesday, same thing, kind of got up and had a little trouble getting up again. And I thought that was strange again, but I was feeling sore the day before. It's like, it's probably nothing, maybe just a little tight, and then get the day going. It wasn't until Wednesday that I actually started really having troubles, like trying to stand and trying to balance. And then I started having walking issues. So I could, you could tell, I could definitely tell. I'm sure
Yeah.
other people could
Yeah.
see too. Like I was trying to have, keep my normal gait, but it was just very, very rigid. All my walking was very rigid. And so was just in burning pain. I just could not think of anything, could not do anything to like make it go away. So
Now you know
yeah, that's
something's
kind of
up.
like how it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I made it through and was like, all right, maybe I'm really sore. So I was trying to hang out on a Saturday. That following Saturday, got a day. I was like, cool, I can hang out. I can really relax. And I was trying to walk around, and my mom was like, "Hey, what's wrong with you?"
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. My legs kind of hurt. I'm having this burning sensation. I'm, some trouble breathing, but like, I think I'm just sore. I think I'm just like overdoing it and overworking my body, picking up all these heavy stones and blocks and cutting everything, building and palletizing." And I was like, I think I'm okay. And then as I said that, my right leg kind of gave out, and I almost fell. I caught myself, luckily, but I almost fell. And she was like, "Yeah, maybe we should take you to the hospital. That
Yeah.
doesn't seem like it's nothing."
Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, I went through, and they'd just like, well, at first they kind of threw the book at me. They were like, you're diabetic, like you have blood clots, they just kind of, we're gonna do a barrage of tests and we're gonna figure it out. And so I was like, okay, you're the doctor, please let me know what's going on so I can take care of that. Yeah.
So you already had been diagnosed with diabetes, or
No. So that's the
so
thing.
this is
After
just a theory of theirs.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
just
Gotcha. Okay.
hypothesizing based on the. You're saying, "Oh, I'm young," because you were like 29 at that time, right?
Yeah,
Roughly.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
28, 29.
Yeah, so you're like, "I'm young and I'm tough. I can do this." Until your body was like, "Sit down, sir."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah.
We need a break here. Yeah, exactly.
So they're stumped, but they're like, "Let's do some tests."
Yes.
Yeah, we'll figure this out. It's probably nothing too crazy, but we'll figure it out. And so they went through, they did chest x-rays, they did x-rays of my legs. They went through with a what is that the device where they ultrasound. They did ultrasounds
Okay.
on my legs to check for blood clots and everything. They tested my A1C, everything, just threw the book at me, and they came back, and I was like, "Hey, what's up? Like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with me?"
How long till this
And
is
the doctor
over? Yeah.
Yeah, and then the doctor was like, "We actually didn't find anything wrong with you. Like, your A1C is fine. Like, your heart looked a little enlarged, but it wasn't cause for alarm or anything. You have no blood clots. Your blood flow is fine. Let's just kind of like, she said, and I quote, "I'm just going to discharge you, and hopefully we don't see you again." So they had no idea what was
Wow.
going on still yet and so after that, I'd went into the hospital because I'd almost fallen again. And, at this point I'd started losing feeling, actually. from the bottom of my feet and it started slowly daily. It was creeping up, and it got up into my neck, and I was just kind of had no feeling whatsoever. It was just like it was impossible to walk. I didn't want to, like I can't feel anything. I don't want to take the chance of like stepping and then going down, anything like that. So,
and at this point, is it entered your mind at all that maybe this is related to either having COVID or the shot?
Not at all. I did not think about it because, there's so little known about it at that time when it happened. Yeah, I had no clue. I was just surprised. I never even thought about it until we went through and they did a bunch of testing. I was like, maybe it's something bigger, that I've never heard of or whatever. So they did a bunch of like
this is more tests. After the original one. So once the numbness started, they said, all right, let's check some more things out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they started running some autoimmune tests to see if I had anything going on with that. And they must have did like 4 or 5 different tests, and if separately, like 4 or 5 different tests, just to try to like cross-reference and see and make sure all the levels were normal. And everything kept coming back negative. They said, you look fine on the paperwork, but like you're definitely having neurological issues. Like your heart's messed up. You're having trouble breathing. Like you can't walk. They knew something was up, but they just couldn't put a finger on it. So they said, you know what, we'll transfer you out to a specialist, and hopefully he can do more testing and figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's what I ended up doing, was transferring out. And then I had a doctor for almost about a year who was just all he would do was test. I would try to ask him what's going on, what could it be? And by this time, when I was leaving the hospital, they said the only thing that's been different is that you had the COVID shot and you had COVID. Well, maybe that might be related. So, they said, we'll send you to a neurologist, and then we'll have you do whatever they need to do to come up with an answer.
Yeah, they're starting to suspect the shot now. COVID or the shot?
Yeah. And so that's the thing. We'd talked to the CDC after it happened, and we were like, "Hey, do you think it could have been the shot?" I was fine until recently, and the only things that I've put into my body for sure, or have had come into contact externally, were the shot or just like being sick from COVID itself.
Yeah.
And they'd messaged back and said that, we don't think that there's enough in the shot to do harm that you're like on the scale that you're seeing. But they told me, maybe just kind of hang out on the shots for now until we figure out more and see what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was, it's still kind of quite unclear. And that's kind of like the hard thing for me, was trying to like come to like, hey, now it's because it's been, well, so my first doctor was I was saying, going back to him, he was running a lot of tests, and I would try to ask him like, hey, what's going on? He tested my genes. He did a bunch of other like neurological tests, like I can't remember the electro shock. It's kind of like it goes through and he shocks your nerves.
They put the needles in and then they I've gone through that. Yep.
Horrible.
Yeah. And so he was just like, everything, like he said for sure, like my one test was that needle shock test was not looking. He's like, yeah, you can see that there's like a decrease in like your nervous system, like how it's working on your right side. But just kind of, he's like, I'm not sure what's causing it, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, he tested everything from my genes, and he was convinced that I had the adverse reaction was from the COVID shot, and that he suspected that I had contracted Guillain-Barré syndrome.
So the medical community, at least who you were coming into contact with, were open to that possibility. I was kind of curious to see if there was pushback, and the CDC would listen to you at least.
Yeah, they said we haven't heard of any adverse reactions from Pfizer, so it was kind of like scary too. It was very much one of those like, oh well, if there is a reaction, I'm like, you're the first we're hearing about it, and nobody wants to hear that, and it's very scary. It's like, oh man, I'm in by myself. I'm in this, like who knows, and
then when they're saying that
what anybody else is.
When they're saying that Pfizer hasn't reported any reactions, would they, if there were? I mean, from what we've learned about, I don't allegedly or whatever. I mean, they've got a history of some of these things of being not really forthright with information. So,
yeah, and so that's it kind of did feel like it was I don't want to say like a cover, like them covering for Pfizer or anything, but it kind of did feel like I was out on my own, like, hey, like it's just you, and like we'll keep you posted if we hear anything else from anybody else, but it was very scary.
Yeah, and I understand their position. They're not gonna just say, that's us. I mean, you got to do the investigation. I understand that. Yeah, but
that's a normal reaction.
So that was early on. There's no other cases reportedly, but now as time has gone by, just out in the public, we all know, we've heard the things of the teenage kids getting heart issues after getting the COVID shot. So did you get to a point where things started to change and you started to get the medical community that you were dealing with maybe considering this as a real possibility?
So yeah, right now I'm at Loma Linda, and well, they were considering maybe the shot when I was at UCR health clinic. Mm-hmm. They were saying we can't be entirely sure because we're not sure, everything's brand new, but we'll test to see what's going on. And my doctor at first was just dead set, like it is Guillain-Barré syndrome, like I'm gonna prove it, which was kind of strange. It was like, okay, you might know something I don't know, Yeah. But
are there tests for that? Are there tests for Guillain?
Like spinal taps. So like I did a bunch of spinal taps when I was in the hospital, and it was at this point he started thinking maybe there's something wrong on the genetic level, and we'll have to go deeper and check out and see. So yeah, I had a test that was testing the genetic structure to see if there was any kind of abnormalities present or something that wasn't there before. And that all came back negative. Yeah. And it was just really strange. It was frustrating, to be told, there's something wrong with you, but we don't know what. Yeah. Well, what can I do about it? We don't know. You have to hang tight. Like, well, it's going on like 6 months. Like it's like going on this amount of time. Like, in the healing process, there's a healing process. Like, is there anything that I can do to kind of like aid that, or trying to see if there's anything that I can do to help with the recovery? And, it's like, we don't have that information right now. We don't have anything to tell you or anything new to report.
Well, you don't want to really proceed.
My entire experience.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, you really don't want to proceed not knowing
exactly
what is going to improve it, or maybe, be negative. Maybe the right thing is to rest, and you're out there exercising, trying to, recover. Yeah. But a couple of things I want to ask: has there been anybody in your family, extended or otherwise, that have had anything close to any symptoms like you?
When it comes to shots, no, not at all. That was another thing too that made kind of made me feel alienated. It's like, oh wow, like there's no history to like look back or report on. I think my father's sister had some what are the some not neurological but I believe she was diagnosed with lupus, so she had some autoimmune things going on, and so we were like, okay, maybe that's like it. Maybe it's like, I have it in my blood from the past, and it's maybe that's just kind of like it hit that nerve, and then like that's kind of like what started it to act up. But again, like with those spinal tap tests, I can't remember everything, but they were looking at GBS. They were looking at like lupus, and they were just for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was when it came back negative, it's just like, oh man, like a real head
You want
scratcher.
some answer, whether it's
But
not the answer you really want, but some definitive somewhere to pin it and say this is it.
And these things do happen. My daughter was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at like 28, 29, which is, very rare, and I have a heart condition. The doctor that I go to, just went to the cardiologist today, but every time I go in for years, he'd say, nobody in your family ever had something like this, because it's generally genetic, and they sent me to genetic testing. And, I don't have any markers that say it's genetic or anything, but so you never know. It just pops up somewhere sometimes. But, with my case, I know what it is. My daughter's case, she knows what it is. So you've got that extra component where you don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
so,
unfortunately.
Randy, what is your. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What is your physical life like now?
Yeah.
Because you had the tingling and you had the numbness and all that. What has it kind of resulted in for your daily life now?
So now I get around primarily with hand crutches, forearm crutches, and so I have no feeling from my right knee down. I still have no feeling whatsoever, and I have drop foot, so I wear a brace, and that really helps correct it, and it helps me walk a lot better. But I'm pretty limited with getting around mobility wise. Going upstairs is not a thing. Just I have trying to figure out how to navigate, because I have my entire right side is it has just in general it has less feeling, so it's really weird to like luckily I'm left-handed, I can write with my left hand, but it's very interesting because I'm a musician. I play the saxophone.
Okay.
So in some aspect of coming back, I had to kind of relearn how, I'm still a young guy, so I'm like gung ho, let's do this, and so I had to learn to take it slow, to like not try to push myself too much, and kind of relearn how to play the sax, and it's usually now it's been just like a day and taking the day as it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
you feel like you're experiencing any
I'm still
progress?
able to, at the moment, no, everything's just kind of like
plateaued.
Plateaued, exactly. And my doctors are all, the general consensus is to go back to the original diagnosis from my first doctor. Now that I've come to Loma Linda and I've been under their care, they're focusing a lot on they were trying to figure out how, maybe what had happened, but when my neurologist had looked at my other neurologist's testing, it was weirdly, it was like most of it was incomplete. And so, I'm not sure what that was about, but talking to my new neurologist now, she said it's more, we might not even know like we probably can't paint that picture of what happened actually because it's been so. It was like about a year at that point when I started seeing her. She said your body's already in the process of trying to recover.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's trying to figure out how we can help you navigate what it's like, what it's going to be like, because this is probably about as good as it's going to get. So yeah, I'm still trying. Trying to do what I can, and hoping, praying that I can that it'll wake up one day, go into physical therapy and everything. But yeah, as far as like getting any better, everything is kind of plateaued at the moment.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're not sitting around just doing nothing.
No.
When you came on, you were saying you were enrolling in college today, so you're moving forward.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
I've got to. Thank you. I'm actually looking forward to summer of this year. I will be graduating with my bachelor's in ethnomusicology.
Nice.
Yeah, and so and so I'm currently looking in for. I'm trying to look for a master's program right now where I can go and get my teaching credentials,
Okay.
and then further continue on with the ethnomusicology aspect of it. Eventually, what I'm hoping to do is I'm Native American, and so I'm hoping that I can take what I know and really start kind of doing a deeper dive on my tribe, their history of their culture, and really their songs, And so,
Cool.
in trying to bring back some good medicine, I feel like that's everybody could use some good medicine nowadays,
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I'm just trying to, and another passion of mine right now that I'm also looking forward to helping my tribe do is language preservation. So I'm currently teaching myself how to speak my tribe's native language, which is Dakota, and
Okay.
yeah, it's very interesting right now. It's really cool. I kind of consider myself a big 2-year-old. I can say simple things like colors or food or green, something like that. But I can't have a conversation like we're having now.
So
But
is all of that verbal, Randy? Do you go to your tribe elders and learn? Is that how it is? Or
yes. So I've there are some resources on the reservation. They teach the language to elementary school kids and up as a second language, which is really awesome because it's
Yeah.
endangered. But yeah, so right now I went out. It's learning the language is something I've always personally wanted to do, but I never knew how to go about it or where to start. And I just kind of took it into my own hands, and so I got into contact with the head of the linguistic department for my tribe, and I call him from like every month, every couple days out of the month, and try to talk to him. I came up with a what is it called, like a script, so I can
Okay.
start like trying to apply everything that I know.
Yeah.
And yeah, he really kind of will either point me in the direction or send me like books on the language, like children's books and like dictionaries. And so I'll try to make those connections and try to start using it like that. Or I'll call him and ask him for pronunciation, because that's my big thing. Is since I'm out here by myself learning how to do it,
Sure.
I don't want to learn it incorrectly and
There's no
then go.
Duolingo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
but
I don't have it yet. But hopefully,
that's what you can do, Randy. We'll make the Duolingo for the native language. What is your tribe?
yeah. I'm a Sistan Wapton Oyate. They're from Lake Traverse area of South Dakota.
Okay.
So my reservation is just right there on Lake Traverse, and I'm also Turtle Mountain Cree, and then that tribe is from the Montana area.
Yeah.
And so I was doing my own family history, and it was really cool to see that kind of before like borders and everything were established. It was cool. I could follow my family and kind of like where they branched out, and so I found out that pretty much from the Dakota side, all the way through to the Central Plains, and then up into Canada, is my tribe. They would all my family would move around. When things maybe weren't too happening for them back in the day, they would probably go up to Canada for a
They're
little
like,
bit.
we need a new food source. We got to move.
Yeah, we're gonna move. We're gonna follow the bison, all that stuff. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So no, yeah, they would move around, and it's super cool to see that. But yeah, I am registered with the Sistan Wahpeton Oyate in South Dakota.
Nice.
Yeah, I have my tribal ties from all around that area and up. Really cool.
That's amazing.
You've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Got your education, you got your music, got your language and your culture. Wow.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. That's what I'm hoping to do too. Is in the future, once I get my teaching credentials and everything, I would like to become as certified, board certified, or what have you, as I can as a teacher here in California. And I'll have to figure out how all of that would transfer over when I go to South Dakota. But my hope is to kind of take music education and just kind of like that newer idea of what education looks like now, and then when I'm out there, kind of help the kids, like, hey, if you want to go out and the world's not as bad as it once was, like there's a lot more support out there for education, especially Native youth. And if you'd like to extend your knowledge or get out there and see other things, like, I can tell you what, from my perspective in California, this is kind of like what they're looking at education wise. This is how their curriculum set up, and maybe kind of help prepare them for that journey if they'd like to take it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. You're throwing yourself far into the future, which is, it'll be here before you know it, but it's cool because the evolution of culture is because someone did that for others, and now you're carrying that torch forward. So this physical change is just a little bump in the journey.
I like that you find that silver lining,
Yeah, you're our kind of people.
That can be a choice. That's a choice for a lot of people, and sometimes people, they'll choose the negative way. I
won't lie. I was like that too at first when everything.
Sure.
I was just like, it really knocked me on my butt. At first I was like, man, I'm still a kid. Like, I'm still young. I still have, the biggest thing was I have that energy, man, and I just want to go. And I don't want to stop. But it really, like, no, well, it's good. Like, yeah, you can go, but you're gonna wear yourself down more.
Yeah.
But like,
pace yourself.
Who knows where you would be right now if you keep doing this, or how long you'll last. But like, to be able to take that step back and really like roll with the punches and just be like, you know what? No, there's a reason. Like, I might not be able to see it now, what's going on or what the big overall picture is, but I do believe that things happen for a reason, and that's one of the things that I'm thankful for. That I can take that step back and really kind of reprioritize what's important to me and for the futures.
Well, we always want to know what you think the future is going to be with our guests, but man, you laid it out for us. So we're looking forward to hearing some updates from you soon.
Of course,
on many different fronts.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to sharing the news and everything else good that comes, the good and the bad, everything that comes with it. You know what I mean? Because you can't just take, like we said, you just can't focus on the negative. You know what I mean? Like, you need to like really take back and be a big picture person to really understand and to really enjoy what you're doing too. Because you might not be able to you might not be able to go at the pace you want to, but you're going at the pace that you need to get it done still.
Yeah. Right.
So before we let you go, you're a musician. Our paths crossed when you were for 2 years at least now, right? You were the entertainment at the Possibilities annual dinner. And beautiful with the saxophone, yes. And so do you play around town? Do you get an opportunity to do that? Got anything coming up you want to Is there anywhere people could go look? And do you have a website or a Instagram or something?
I have some videos on YouTube for
YouTube,
sure.
okay.
But you can follow me. It's Rand RAND underscore Master 3000.
Beautiful. All right.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Go check Randy Plummer out. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
Hey,
for
Doug,
coming
you have
on.
one more question before you cut off.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
thank you. Oh yeah, you're very.
He always forgets it. I told him I would remind him.
This is a new segment that we're doing, and I think we've maybe done it once now because either I forget or I forget.
Doug really wants to do. Yeah.
And this started. I came up with this question months ago, and it was kind of a throwaway. I had this interesting question, and I shared my answer, and I did it on the show, and then I've done it in support groups that I've gone to. And it just organically just would start conversations. I'm thinking I'm going to get an answer from a few people. It's going to be 5-minute conversation, and it turned into 30, 40-minute conversation. So I thought I'm going to bring this question and just kind of see what happens when we ask our guests. So this is kind of the parting question. And it's very simple. How long does it take you to put on your pants, socks, and shoes? And you can just estimate.
Probably... maybe like 15, 20 minutes to get it going. Yeah, it's my left side always good. I can put that in. And so the trick is I actually put my socks and my brace on first.
Yeah.
That way I can kind of hoist it up and get some leverage, you know what I mean, and move it around. But it's it's a lot of a little embarrassing, but when feeling. So when the foot gets stuck, it's like, come on, I'll be wrestling with myself sometimes. Like,
yep. No, I can relate totally.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
you're in good company here.
Yes.
So my CP is all on my right.
Oh,
So I always joke with people, and I always say righty. Righty has a mind of her own. Like, she just does what she thinks she's gonna do. Like, and she generally is a paperweight because I don't have fine motor skills really on that side. Yeah. And so I always joke that it's two people because, or if I get frustrated, I'll be like, "Come on, righty."
Sometimes they go separate ways.
Yeah, no, totally. Or counterproductive ways to each other, or Well,
that's one of those things that I love about the question, because it's it opens conversations like this in the disabled community, but it also is kind of a bridge to people that don't experience this, haven't experienced this,
exactly.
So when they hear answers like mine I timed myself before I even asked the question so I could bring it to the show, and mine's 7.5. And I recently retimed myself, and it's still about, I thought maybe I could, cut some corners and do a little quicker, but no, still at about 7.5. But, so 15, that's one of the longer ones.
And you have to have a wake up routine, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I get around that by wearing basketball shorts.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Forget all the complications.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? The basketball shorts kind of day.
Yeah, cut my day. Cut my time in half.
Winner. Yeah.
All right, buddy. We'll let you go, but thank you for coming on and being a sport and telling us your story. And I knew it was going to be fascinating. And so many of these stories are. I know a lot of people that have come on the show, but I haven't. I know how maybe they got paralyzed or whatever the story is, but I don't know it in depth. And they surprise me a lot of times. And, you're one of those ones it's fascinating,
Well, thank you, Doug and Addie, for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to talk with you guys. Yeah. Right. And I'm looking forward to keeping you guys updated with what goes on in life, and I'm looking forward to hearing the same with you both as well.
Awesome. We're rooting for you over here.
Absolutely.
For sure.
All right. We'll talk soon.
All right. You guys have a great day. Take care.
You too. Right. Bye, Randy.
Each week on Walk and Roll Live, we share honest and open stories of people living with a disability.
I had a huge bruise from my mom's 9mm. It was a hollow point, and it went in diagonal up an angle from just above my right ear to about the left side of my top of my head.
Join us weekly for another powerful episode. Walk and Roll Live, wherever you get your podcasts. Life Limitless. Subscribe now.
What an awesome guest it was to have today. How interesting to hear how Randy looks forward to the future and bringing in, education for other people and not letting his new differences stop him.
Yeah. Be interesting to see. I know he's looking at a position in Riverside for a music teacher. So hopefully that goes well. We'll keep our fingers crossed for him. Yeah. All right. So this is that point in the show where now one of our new features, we're catching up with some of the guests just to see how things are going with them. We're going to chat with Eric Eblin today. How you doing, Eric?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So just want to refresh everybody's memory. You were on July 19th, 2023. You can go back and listen to that episode and get all of Eric's story. But today we wanted to catch up with you and see what's going on now. First of all, just kind of let people know what your story was and is.
When I'm a T7, I fell about 1,800 feet rock climbing 20 years ago. It's been 20 years now. I'm a T7. A complete para. I got a wife, 2 kids, all after injury as well. Bachelor's, master's in nutrition and dietetics. I work for Riverside, San Bernardino County Indian Health. I'm a dietitian and personal trainer and stuff like that. So kind of the only way to beat diabetes is through diet and lifestyle change. So anyways, and I play basketball. I coach a youth team called the Cubs, and I play for the Bears. It's an Inland Empire team.
Go for long pushes.
Definitely. That's kind of where I'm transitioning to, is basketball is a little bit harder on your body than I can do 26 miles and feel great. I play basketball for 2 hours and I'm contemplating whether I'm going to work tomorrow.
Yikes.
Right.
So yeah, it's horrible that it gets like that, but such is life, and that's what happens as we get older. So
I think that's called aging.
My kids are 21 now. So
how old are they again?
21 and 22.
Wow. I remember when they were just little.
Yeah, if you saw him now, you'd be like people do see him. When they see Dylan, they're like, he's about 6'2", 3-ish, 260 pounds. He's huge.
So, and still out fishing?
I do fishing, and I don't get to do as much as I wasn't working. But I still, I hit Mammoth or Bishop a couple times a year, a couple weeks after they open.
Nice.
Awesome.
And then, Jinx, Big Bear, Santa Ana River, South Forks, or, I like mountains and stuff like that. Fish the river whenever I go out to Arizona. But I do, I do a lot of physical stuff because, that's what keeps my head right. I don't ride dirt bikes and I don't ride any of that stuff. I like my motor to come from within myself. So
it sounds like everything else, though, is other than the kids getting older, still works the same. Everything, nothing really changed there.
Everything's been good.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little complacent, but
that beats the alternative. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Works good. It's been, it's easy. I did run the department at Ballard for a long time, but I'm glad I'm out of that, because heavy is the head that wears the crown. So
yeah, absolutely.
Being a director.
Well, good. Good hearing from you. Just wanted to kind of catch up, see how you were doing, get you back on real quick, check on our guests, see where they're at these days. Good to see, even though it's kind of status quo and complacent, sounds like it's good. Sounds like it's good.
Everything is good. I can't complain. You know? We do have a tournament this weekend in San Diego, so I don't want you coming out thinking that the Bears are going to be as dominant as we used to be when we were younger. I'm waiting for that 50+ league to start. Like, when's that happening?
So where would you like find their schedule for Rolling Bears if somebody wanted to look at their website?
But I do know that this one's through, the Silverbacks. They're in San Diego. I mean, most of the time it's updated on there, like when we're having these tournaments. The schedule we just barely got, so maybe I can get these guys there. Thanks for reminding me.
You got it. And then it might be on Team Possibilities too, right?
We're definitely on that.
There, on their website. Good.
Everybody's having more babies, so their involvement, that tends to take time.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, good talking to you. We will let you go. Yep. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, for sure. Good hearing from you guys.
Take care.
Eric Eblin, everybody. Good catching up with him. July 19th, 2023. That's the episode. You can find it on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. A good episode. He's a lot of fun. Good catching up with Eric. And now we look towards things that are coming up for you or I. You got anything? Nah, same thing. Waiting for the snow to come back.
Same soup, different bowl.
Yep. Yeah, about the same for me too. If there's anything you're interested in, go to the website, walkandrolllive.com. I know that Possibilities has some things coming up. They've got things all month long. Rolling Start does. Angel City games are on, I want to say February 23rd is when I am going. So it's that weekend. So their website is on our resource page. So check that out. And Triumph is not too much after that. So we'll be talking more about that Triumph Foundation.
And then the Abilities Expo. You've got, you're coming up into, like we say, spring is the time. Spring, lots of things.
So next week, tentatively, we have Zimri Solis, who's going to be on. Okay. I got to call him today or tomorrow and just double check his schedule. He was saying he's not sure if something might come up, but hopefully it will be him. If not, we'll find somebody. So thank you for listening. I'm your host, Doug Vinson, along with Addie Rich from Agyar Professional Training Studio. This has been Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories, Life Limitless.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Walk and roll.